flag.
This meeting is being recorded.
You hear the sound of the bell, you know you in the championship rounds, and I'm back with my guy. We got a lot to talk about. Introduce yourself, brother. Let them know where they can find you.
I'm a body work boxing, you know what I'm saying? You can catch me on body work boxing. I'm on YouTube. That's where I do most of my videos. And now, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing all that body work, body work, body work. I'm making it back to the championship rounds. That must mean I'm doing something right. Salute, King.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We getting some good sparring, and we going to get to it, man. It's a lot of topics. I think we picked these out so well in advance, man. We are ahead of the game. Um,
Absolutely.
First of all, let's get into it right quick. I had seen something. I sent this one to you this morning, and it was Doggy Diamond. Shout out to Doggy Diamonds. He did something about rappers posting footage of sparring and boxing and that whole thing. And his view on it was kind of like, they out there looking weak. He pointed out different rappers. He said, they look like they ain't been in a fight, whatever. But I wanted to pose it, is it something to it to where, these cats is trying to get off the porch late in life, trying to show that they got squabbles, or is it something that they're just trying to promote a sense of wellness and preparedness in that regard? What do you think? What's your take?
I tend to think that, man, it's money now. You know what I'm saying? It's money. Yeah, I think that it's capitalism. And unfortunately, the sport of boxing it doesn't always give the fans what they want. You know what I'm saying? Like the boxing, it's like a a la carte. It's like a to the side when it's coming along, except for if you're a hardcore and you're into it, right? But since the big fights aren't happening, these entertainers are saying, hey man, they getting in the ring to do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? So they just like with the verses, you know how they was
Yeah.
doing the verses, it's a way for them to, I mean, because they sanctioning this stuff. So you could have somebody, you know what I'm saying, hey, 50 could be like, hey, Rick Ross, let's just do it. You know what I'm saying? You could spark up something. Imagine you got the Jake Pauls of the world and this and that. So now they kind of building up a little profile. They playing, but you can't play boxing
Sure.
because when you in that game, that rap game, you got to ingratiate yourself in that culture. And the last thing, a lot of rappers already have mental health. The
Hmm.
last thing you need to do is get inside the ring and somebody go oops upside your motherfucking head. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
so I think it's a little bit of, and we paving the way when boxers transition off into getting into the music and stuff like that, they get looked at like, man, what are you doing with your little rap song, your little rap career? But the hardcore boxer fans be like, you compromise because you can't be, we'll come along with touring and that
Sure.
lifestyle. So I think it's a gateway. The floodgates is opening to entertainment, and that's, you know what I'm saying. That's what's happening.
It's funny you brought. I never thought of that angle. It's the same, it's a bag, as they say. It's a bag to it. So if you get now, it'll be, honorable. My little pie in the sky to be honorable if these cats that got issues, take it to the ring. But at least, there's a part where, you know, it could happen in that regard, or at least get people that's willing to just have some fun with it and show that you could leave part of your persona and still be, have some fun and show that you dedicated to something. Because a lot of these guys play ball, you know what I'm saying? On the
Right,
low, they
right.
sneak and play ball. They be in them skinny ass jeans, but they be trying to ball out, right? So
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think that you right. It's about the bag and again with the Jake Pauls and people doing videos and catering to that, saying like the belief is that anybody can do it,
yeah,
and it looks cool. You know what I'm saying? When you putting on gloves and you looking like you're doing something, but people who really know about boxing and this and that, because the music don't glorify that. You know what you talking about. You talking about going street life and that kind of stuff. So I just think that we'll see what happens, man, when one of these rappers or one of these entertainers get in there and it don't go right for them. But you want to something as far as the solution because um putting on gloves when you got real beef, like when you got something real beef and you really want to get something off your chest, that would be the one. Like, you know, with Game and 50 all these years, like glove up.
Get it
You know
out
what
your
I'm saying? Just
system.
glove up. Like, let's stop all this internet because y'all getting the bag off the internet and the back and forth. Glove up, train, go through a camp and have it lit and do all that, and then actually get in there. And you know what I'm saying? Show the progress and actually do right by the sport because it's
And look,
sending the wrong message if you can play.
Floyd's so active, put that on the undercard. You know what I'm saying? So, talking about, satisfying all audiences and
Yeah,
avenues, man.
yeah, yeah,
Man.
yeah.
Well, talk about the youngins because some of them is rapping, but I see a lot of the youngins is getting back into boxing, right? Me and you was probably more of a certain age. We 80s baby, so we're seeing a lot of the youngest guys get into boxing. So let's talk about these top ranked prospects. Do you think, and we're gonna go through names and we will, talk about it, at whatever length, whatever degree, but do you think right now the Jared Andersons, the Shu Shu Carringtons, the Davis brothers out of the DMV area, do you think
Right.
these guys are getting a proper introduction, or is it a little bit too fast, too soon? Like, as far as being able to sustain this Jahai Tucker, shout out to Jahai Tucker, but to
Right.
sustain kind of all this light they getting.
Right. I think that the people that's training and actually really living that life it's going to show up. And Teddy Atlas talked about a long time ago about how Top Rank, you know what I'm saying, is really good at building stars. And so this microwave, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, always being seen, always doing this, and not actually being in the gym. Like somebody's out there training who got to worry about what they eating tomorrow. They're gonna
Yeah,
pop one of them guys in there with y'all, and y'all gonna get found out because a couple of them chinny. And they don't realize it, but Tim Bradley be giving away some keys sometimes when he be like, some of these guys, he said, even up into the main event, it's lose and you gone.
yeah,
Remember Elvis Rodriguez?
yep, yep.
Now he bounced back. I'll be checking for him over there on PBC, but they will, you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be a lines then and everybody, but it's also a lot of friendliness going on. You notice how some people are just friends, like all of us, like, no, man, like, so I don't know what's going on. I think another term I'm going to introduce: boxing monogamous. There's a lot of boxing monogamous. So these young guys, a lot of them not getting their just dues for what they actually do because people think that, oh, I'm rocking with this person, so you can't like that one.
Yeah.
Like, dare I say, Big Baby,
Mhm.
who's looking like very beastly. I don't hear many people saying calling for any smoke or any of the kind of conversations around like any lead ups. Ain't no smoke because they think that you got to be boxing monogamous to so they a lot of these young guys is not really getting a shine. But
Yeah.
Top Rank gonna put them on because it's like it's overpopulated over there. Everybody can't get the bag.
And I think in that way it does make it competitive over there. So not just the opponents that they're going to be matched with. That's like, yo, y'all put me here as an opponent to lose. You got a guy that's like, yo, I'm fighting on a 4-rounder. I'm trying to get on that pay-per-view side of things. I don't want to be on the free ESPN2, on the app. I want to get to the other side of this shit. So I'm in
Right.
competition with you. So speaking of Jared Anderson, like you're right. He's doing co-main events, and I don't hear nobody. One of the sharpest young guys out there, man. And look,
Yeah.
being around Top Rank, man, I like what Top Rank has done more than any other promotion. Well, Matchroom, I like Matchroom, but Top Rank is good too because you got Jared Anderson having that experience to be around Sugar Hill and Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? I thought that
Right,
was
right,
swell for
right.
him, bro.
It's like a nice little melting pot. And I think that something happened with Top Rank that actually kind of changed them and said, hey, when they came out and was saying they don't know how to promote certain fighters, you see after that came out, I mean, Shakur got what he wanted in his fight with
Yeah.
Valdez that he been calling for. Big Baby get to come down and represent his brother with the clinks on, you know what I'm saying? And he had free artistry. You don't see that. I mean, ESPN You know what I'm saying? You see
Yeah.
Big Baby doing something like that, being expressive, bringing attention to causes and giving these guys the shine. So somebody was listening. And so I
Yeah.
think it's good. I think it's good that, to cross, like, some of them sparring with each other, and they getting to know, okay, that's that
Big
style over
Baby
there,
and
because
Shakur,
you're
which we'll
gonna,
get to in a
right.
minute.
Yeah.
Right?
And across the pond, the synergy before them. Okay, I have experience over there. I know some. It's not gonna be so hostile. Mike can garner a little bit of, fans over there, or some people that can kind of know. So when I go over there, it ain't total darkness for me. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I think it's a good synergy. I think Top Rank has done pretty much a good job at turning things around.
Dare
Yeah.
I say that a Rock Nation of boxing right now? Like not the Rock Nation model of boxing that failed, but I mean as far as keeping their
Yeah.
athletes, their stars productive, active, on schedule, shining, you know.
Yeah, like when Dipset came through, you know what I'm saying, and Cameron, you know what I'm saying, came in and like was just knocking stuff over, and all that was going. Yeah, it was, but
Yeah,
it was popping, back then. Yeah, it's
yeah.
looking like that. It's a resurgence.
Now, is there anybody other than Big Baby that you got your eye on to shine out of that crop? You know?
Shu Shu,
Yeah, I read my damn mind.
man, Shu Shu. I got a nickname for him, man. I think he like the Reaper, man. That man, hey, that man was standing right in front of you, and once he figure out, it's like they talk about processing data, and I've been watching, you know what I'm saying? I've been watching to see what he doing. He eating right. You don't really see him. They might put the camera in front of his face, but he ain't doing all that fly, like, you know what I'm saying? He not reading his own, what they call the article clippers, the news clippers. He not reading none of that. You know what I'm saying? He's training, he's running. He stays around the same size. And skill wise, when you actually see what he's able to do, how he's able to stand there after he process that data and pick
Excellent.
you apart, hit you multiple times before you hit the ground and all that. I think you got some big boisterous ones that I'm starting to say, because there's rumors that some of them are chinny. A lot of them are getting a lot of them was feeling like, and I'm like, oh, you got a little unfinished business to handle,
Sure.
but it's a package deal over there. I think Keyshawn's brother,
Kelvin.
what's his name? Kelvin.
Hmm.
I think if he don't get if he stay up under the radar and kind of like watch and see what's going on, because we're gonna get into this other subject about, what I'm saying, with the big thing, but
Hmm.
some of the I'm trying to figure out if lifestyle and being too, what I'm saying, too pop my collarish and too in front of the lights is,
Too
is
much
kind of
media
weaving its way in.
runs. Yeah. Too much
Yeah.
interviews.
But
Too
it's a
much.
yeah, I like Jihad. I like Jihad too. It's a couple people over there that I like. I think they're gonna weed themselves out. What's your take on Keyshawn, the businessman?
I like Keyshawn. I think he's trying to find that wave or that middle ground of marketability, because what I see, he does pay attention and he speaks to understanding that beyond his skill, which I think, he's been out there, and I think he's been out there rightfully so that way you don't forget about him because of that
Yeah.
crop over there. It is a big class over there. So I think skill wise, um, good jab. I like his footwork. I like his punch placement. He's
Hmm.
starting to go rounds more as of late. I think his last fight was a 10 rounder. So we still got a lot more to see. And that's the thing. People don't want to judge too quickly because we've only been seeing 4, 6, and 8s. You know what I'm saying? Even tomorrow, we're only going to see some 8s, maybe some 6s. We're not going to see a whole lot of 10 rounders. And when these guys are in there with 10 rounders against the type of competition that's also got it on the line, them guys that's like, yo, Top Rank said, this might be it for me. Um,
Right.
I think
Mhm.
he'll pass that test. I'm hopeful that he'll pass that test, and like you said, I think he'll kind of set the template for his brother to come behind him. Um, I think everybody will pass with flying colors. I think the important thing though is if any of these guys happen to take a loss early in their career, how do they respond? I think that's going to be the big key. I think how Top Rank bring them along, depending on the divisions, because I'm not sure which division all these guys in. Not even that they will cross paths with each other, but shit, we might as well get right to it because we see what's happening with kind of they old head Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll come a time where these guys will have to fight each other because they can no longer make weight, but let's talk about what happened, man. You want to open it up with what happened with Shakur, or?
Yeah, they basically were saying that he missed weight, you know, and I was like, man, it kind of made me, it kind of opened up, it opened up Pandora's box because, you know, I seen the criticism that Tank went through, you know what I'm saying? Still some of the flack that
Starting that
even
body
myself, I
work.
gave David Benavidez, huh?
You starting that
Yeah.
body work.
Yeah, man, the flack that the David Benavidez got, you know, and I'm just looking at, you know, some of the you know, reportings and the responses, and it's like you open up a wormhole and you did it to where you lost the belts, which is leverage. You know what I'm saying? And when you say it was like 1.6, that means you had really no intentions. Like that's kind of like, I'm like, man, because remember when I asked you when we was getting this together, we were preparing, I was like, man, is he kind of feeling like too, you know, is he overlooking Conceicaio? Because you gotta think, man, Conceicaio was a competitor, man. And
Beast.
he's looking like, man, hold on. First of all, he might think he have a mental advantage. He might, you know what I'm saying? He's also confident. He knows that this is his shot. If he can cause problems, if he can make Shakur, if he can hit Shakur more than he, I mean, it's a lot at stake, right? I don't think people really realize how big this fight is. Because right,
It's
with no belts and then being dangerous, when you
so,
have no belts and you're dangerous, people can avoid you
and that's what's been happening to Conceicaio
all
for a
day.
long
'Cause like,
time. You know, he's been
right.
avoided. So let's go back a bit. I gotta lay it out there so I don't sound like a protector. I don't sound biased. I gotta try to lay out all the facts and try to be as objective as I can.
Okay.
Now I know
Okay.
where Conceicaio comes from because not that Colbert ducked him, but Colbert avoided him. Colbert was supposed to have that fight. Didn't go down. Colbert ended up meeting against the Dominican homie. You know what I'm saying?
Hector,
Bro's
Hector
name.
Garcia.
Yeah, Hector
Yeah.
Garcia, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we know about Conceicaio. Conceicaio was in them wars with Rene Alvarado at 130. I know
Right.
his resume. I understand that he's dangerous. Now, Shakur, on the other hand, 126. I'm just being real. Gary Russell, the only adult black man that was making 126 as like a grown man. So for Shakur to blow through 130 the way he do and kind of stepped in and stepping out, I get it, and I feel like it's physiological. Now let me admit to some things. Now, I understand this fight is at home, and that creates a lot of distractions. Anybody says that, that's a bunch of bullshit, all right? I do understand the talk, you know, with you know, about, you know, the other fighters as far as in the same situation, they get a lot more scrutiny.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, I don't know for sure. I feel like if it was 1.6 pounds, maybe he was stretched thin. You might say he ain't have no intentions of losing it, but maybe because if he would have hurt himself trying to make 130, he know the kind of ass whooping Conceicaio would have been trying to bring to him. So, you
Yeah,
know,
I thought about that as well. I
yeah,
thought about that as well. And that's my guy. Don't get it twisted. I try to be, you know, because I welcome trolls. You know what I'm saying? You just got to be telling the truth. That's my thing. Just be telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? But I welcome that kind, but I see how people will use that because he's so good. That's like a little chink in the armor. So now you put something where somebody can just every time the conversation come up, because that's in the history books now.
it
You know what I'm
is.
saying? In the history books, in the newspaper, in the articles, you know, and even when the illustrious career, it's gonna be a moment in time when it's gonna do this and that, and it's gonna talk about how those belts were lost. So I understand him as far as winning. He said health first, health is wealth. All day, every day. I believe that. And I was looking at Shakur like, I see Tank on one side who's all about money and legacy, and he's become that attraction. He's that knockout guy, got everything, right? Then you got Devin, who's the consummate professional, what I'm saying, who pretty much do everything right, and just maneuvered, and he's being this business guy. And not in those paths, if those two kind of boxes cross, you would have Shakur coming straight up the middle.
Yeah.
As far as having all the skills, having the defense, what I'm saying? He has, he got the owl on the shirt, he messing with Jay Prince, he on top rank. He's the guy that everybody looking up to. What I'm saying? Right now, he's leading the charge. T.O. was, from some point, he's still doing this thing as well. But that was Shakur. And I was thinking, man, Shakur got a little dark side, so I was thinking more like an Anakin turning into Darth Vader, kind of like he about to go savage. I think, what I'm saying. I think I want Shakur to put on a statement. Now, if you gonna go in there and you do that, because that's gonna make it when they judging and all that, because in the court of public perception, everybody gonna be having that in their mind. Oh, he did miss weight. They're already gonna be assuming. They already gonna be. So I think he need to go out there and make a statement.
I totally agree. He's got to make a statement. And I think there's a part, there's a slight truth that if you were going to go out there and be the defensive counter puncher that you are, you might have could have lost that 1.6 because you was going to go out there and dip and roll shoulders and pull counter all night anyway. You know what I'm saying? So now,
Right.
like, you got to say, yeah, I chose my health because this is what a healthy me can do. You know what I'm saying? So he gotta really, really elaborate with them punches. The punches really gotta be spectacular. You know what I'm saying? He gotta do something real nice to where, people remember, and then they start to ask and say, well, damn. Cause so now, without going too far, I think I'm a little bit more intrigued in the Ryan Garcia Shakur Stevenson fight. For some reason.
You more intrigued with that?
Then seeing him against Haney or Tank. I don't know. It just dawned on me if he's moving up to 135, and I don't know if Ryan could come back down, to 130. He'd be talking that 140 shit, but
I mean, if man, I think Ryan wanted to be at 40. Unless that was just it was a bargaining chip. Like it was a way to try to have, because some people think he'll have a competitive advantage. I don't know. Skill wise, I really think Shakur would beat Ryan to sleep, man. I think, because Ryan need a couple more fights to get to where he need to be, man. He got a skill set, but he need to be developed, man. He kind of need a little bit more things, because there's them pressure fighters, man, them ones that's just gonna come in that like an Isaac Cruz.
Dangerous.
You throw Isaac Cruz in there with a Shakur, I want to see, I want to see everybody mix it up, man. Sure. That's what I think. Even when you win, if you can still make it, if not, but if you're gonna move up, man, it gotta be the names. I know he ain't coming up for no reason.
No. So 135 like almost becomes a glamour division instantly with Shakur having to introduce himself. So I like that, man. I like that. Talking about moving up, let's look at what we have this weekend in addition to the Shakur fight. We got those young guys on the card, but we also have some heavyweight action. Some people miss out on these guys because it's the UK, but you might have seen this one on the docket. We got Joe Joyce versus Joseph Parker. What do you think about those two heavyweight guys in this matchup?
I know Joe Joyce, he got power. Everybody talk about how slow he is, but I think he's very deliberate. And I don't know. I'm still kind of divided on. I'm divided on who I like in that one. I don't know. I think maybe Parker can surprise him, but it just seemed like Joe Joyce is he's gonna be patient, and it's gonna be. How exciting do you think that fight is gonna be? You think it's gonna be what is it gonna be, a chess match or?
No, that's real though. Look, it's gonna be as exciting as I think Joe Joyce kind of turned up the pressure and he hit another gear. I mean, you hit on something good because he's kind of methodical. You know, some people call it plodding. He come forward with that jet, but like you said, he's deliberate. So, you know, he's going to have to chase Parker, who's already put it out there. He's going to try to pull a Skip to Malou and bounce off the back foot. He admitted to that, which is ridiculous. So how exciting could it be? And I think Joyce is going to have to switch it up a bit and just get a little bit of, bop in his step and kind of, come forward a lot, more urgently than he would under normal circumstances,
I think it's just gonna get, because I've seen him where he'll just wear you out. He'll just touch you. It'll get to the point where he'll hit you with that jab so much to where you gonna start, you know what I'm saying? Like it just get, because he's gonna do that. He just need to put something behind it. He need to come with more than that. Hopefully he'll mix it up. I don't know. I still gotta go back and do some more homework on that one, man, and figure out before who I'm really going with on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a ride out with Parker, man. But I also got, a sure pick in his women's bout. Man, you got Hannah Rankin versus Terry Harper. This one is for women's junior middleweight or middleweight, I think. Either way, I'm big on women's boxing because I like the excitement. I kind of feel like the 2 minutes make it do or die, and if you have a skilled fighter, a lot of times, it's still early in the professional women's fight game that there's got younger fighters with more skills coming in and getting started. Right. So, Terry Harper, especially the UK, GB boxing has always been pretty lit since they allowed them in the Olympics. But Hannah Rankin is crazy, ripped right now. And I think when she was fighting at all the lower weight classes, she wasn't at her best. So I think Hannah Rankin kind of puts Terry Harper out the pastures. We know Terry Harper is coming off that loss to Bumgarner. And then, so.
She got froze.
Yeah, man. Listen, like bad Wi-Fi.
Let me ask you something. Everybody was trying to come up with ways to better women's boxing. And Tim Bradley came out and he suggested smaller gloves. Instead of increasing the rounds, go with smaller gloves. And I was thinking about her getting froze. What would that do for women? Because I'm big on women's boxing, and I want to have a regular segment on it because it does get overlooked. And I've seen some of the best fights in women's boxing. But what do you think about Tim in the making the gloves a little bit smaller?
Yeah, if they do that, it definitely adds to a certain level of excitement, a certain level of physicality that's going to be, again, with the pressure on for 2 minutes and smaller gloves. I think you do have a more exciting product. I think that's something we're going to have to explore and kind of beat the drum for that. I don't think they need the 3-minute rounds. I'm cool with the 2-minute rounds, but the smaller gloves could add some flavor, man. I think you're onto something.
That matchmaking got to be right though, man, because it's some McCat skills of the world and some people that could really thump. You know what I'm saying? With them smaller gloves, man, you're gonna have knockouts and highlights, and people gonna be coming to watch.
Well,
so I think.
Speaking of which, you got Amanda Serrano also fighting this weekend. She's coming off the heels of that big fight with Katie Taylor, so I could imagine her as well with smaller gloves because she's a southpaw and she's definitely a puncher. And I'm not really too sure on her opponent off the top of my head, but women's boxing, what direction do you think this thing is going? And let me ask you even better, do you think that this the mega fight that we happen to miss out on, do you think that that's going to kind of set women's boxing on a trajectory where we can start to look for changes on how it's going down, maybe changes in the glove size and everything?
Yes, I do. As long as things don't get too toxic. Right now, that fight just needs to happen, and the best woman needs to win. The best boxer needs to win. You know what I'm saying? But I think that how it's handled, because there was a lot of controversy after that last Serrano fight. I mean, people were divided and saying like, because who did you have Serrano?
Brother, I was in the building that night and I saw with my own eyes Serrano won. To me, I don't know what was going on. Serrano won. I was like, really? Like, nah.
and the way it was handled was just like, so I think that, depending on that stage, especially after after the coverage and why it was delayed, that's going to come up, and how, if it's handled with class and taste, and it's like, it's a really good competitive fight, and they handled it like champs. They, what I'm saying, they afterwards they hug and let it be known it's all good sportsmanship. Yeah, I think that could really like change the trajectory, because a lot of times everybody's like kind of focused on the drama aspect of it for the sales and all that, but sometimes that kind of push fights back, because sometimes people don't want to deal with all that on a level, especially with social media, and you say certain things and it gets away from the sport. So I think how they present this fight up on the stage and how it carries out, it's going to either make or break, what I'm saying, the trajectory, because whoever wins that fight, they're going to be the trendsetter. So
Face
however
of
they
women's
move after
boxing.
that, all the young people going back to the youth are going to be looking like, hey, in this era, this is who I'm looking at, and this is who I want to be like. So I
Excellent
think
point.
it's yeah.
Because it establishes a route for girls to see a path. Like, yo, I can go to the Olympics. I could join a local gym. You know what I mean? I could become a pro fighter. I could travel. I could do so much with it. I could do MMA. So yeah, man. And I hate that it was derailed, but I'm so ready for things to get reignited. And the winner of that fight, we're going to talk about it as we get closer to it, because the winner of that fight, um, and even the co-main event, Bumgarner Mayer, the winner of that fight, man.
Yeah,
So when we get closer to it, man, we're gonna
we'll have to chop it up on that one. We'll have to chop
absolutely,
it up on that
man.
one. But yeah, man, I appreciate you having me back, man. Obviously, we doing something right, man. I guess we gotta, we gonna have to do a segment on our guy, what I'm saying, who's watching,
Yeah,
because
listen,
salute to you, man. You doing something right, man, and hey, I'm right there with you.
listen, man. We out here doing what we love, man. Sharing this, this knowledge and this passion we have with those that's paying attention. Shout out to Diego Pacheco. Shout out to all the fighters that check in. Shout out to Sandy Ryan. Check out to everybody, man. And be sure to check
Salute.
out Mr. Bodywork Boxing himself. Check him out on YouTube. He just put up another great video on Tank Davis. Please be sure to check that out and all his content he got.
Thank you.
You know where to find me on IG. You want to tell him anything before we get up out of here?
Yeah, if you want to reach out, it's Bodywork Boxing 24/7 at Gmail, and on Instagram it's Mr. _ Bodywork Boxing. Here at Bodywork Boxing, where we don't take things for face value, we do that body work.
Yes, sir.
Salute
We out of here.
to the
Yes,
king.
sir. Salute, man. We out.